Hello followers and welcome back to MrMFretwell Plays Minecraft, and in today's episode we are down here near the farming area, and we're going to be working on the farms today. After spending a couple of episodes up there on the lab, I feel it's time to have a little bit of a change and work on something different. So this is the obvious project to work on, so we're going to be doing a little bit of this today. So last time we were here we kind of planned out a layout for how I wanted to design the farms. Sort of similar at the moment to how this is, although I'm thinking of making a couple of changes as regards this layer right here, but we'll get to that in time. So I guess the first thing to do is going to be to kind of begin to put this together here. I've got a bunch of supplies in order to help me do that. So we're only going to have 3 in between. Okay, I remember. Been a while since I did anything with this, so my memory is a little on the vague side here at the moment, but no doubt it will come back to me as I start building it for sure. So we're going to line the edge here with quartz slabs, and probably what we'll do is we'll design one on camera, and then I may work on it a little bit off camera, and then we may do the other 2 off camera, something like that, because it's just repeating myself. And it's just going to be designing the same sort of thing, really, so... Oops. So the aim with this is we're going to have 3 different colours representing the different farms. We're going to have red, orange, and yellow. This one right here is going to be red, this one right here is going to be orange, and that one over there is going to be yellow. So this one is going to be netherwort, this one is going to be carrots, and this one is going to be potatoes. And that's how that's going to work. So next up I want to put the floor in, and we're going to use orange stained clay for that. So the floor essentially is everything up to this point right here is going to be the floor, and also underneath the cobble as well, because the cobble is going to get replaced with stained glass. So we're going to have to dig all of this out. Go, apart from that one block right there, and that one we seem to have took a little bit more out than I intended to, but that's fine. So in all of this we want to get ourselves some orange stained clay, and we're going to put the floor in. Very, very simple. There we go. I have got a bunch more hardened clay if we happen to need it. Stored up in a chest, because these are going to be multiple floors. In total, these farms are going to have 4 floors, because on each layer is going to be a 4x4 crop area, which means 16 plants, and we're going for a stack of plants, so we need to have it 4 stories high. So we've got the floor in here. I'm going to grab myself some white stained glass, and we're going to start knocking this out right here, and we're going to put in some white stained glass. Going to have to add in some more orange stained clay as well, but that's fine. There we go. I'm going to get some dirt on my bar. I don't need my axe right now. So let's do this. And basically this is going to go up 3 layers. Just like that. And then on top of that is going to be some more orange stained clay. But we'll get to that in a minute. So out here where these slabs are, these are going to be quartz slabs. Like that. All the way around. Just like that. And above where this dirt is, we're going to have orange stained clay, and one slight design change, whoops, from the design we have been using to the one I'm using now is that the cobblestone slabs are going to be going up 1 block higher. Well, the quartz slabs, but the cobblestone slabs in our design are going to be going up to here. And the reason for that is just to allow more room for lighting. No other reason than that. There we go. Perfect. So this would then form the floor of the next layer. So sort of like that, we've got a floor situation coming together. So it's looking pretty cool, I have to say. I'm going to work on this for a little bit and just make sure I've got everything right as regards what I want to do with the measurements, and then I will be back. Okay, so I've been working on this for a little bit, just kind of got some ideas together. Just changed one little aspect of this. Now it's half a block higher than it was in the last clip. Now this does present a little bit of a problem with monsters being able to spawn in this area, but I'll probably combat that through some way of a pattern or something made out of quartz, and we'll examine that further down the road here. But for right now, I just want to kind of get the structure together, and we are going to add the place where the dirt is going to go. Couldn't think for a moment there. There we go. So now the principle here is that there's going to be sort of like a stacked farm thing going on. So the layer above is probably going to sit like this, and then there won't be one here, for example. I'm just going to sleep in the bed real quick. And there's going to be some dispensers right at the top, which we can use by pushing a button, and it will send all of the carrots or whatever it is down into some hoppers, which are going to be down here. So this is where there's going to be like maybe a water current into a hopper, for example, which is going to be that hopper right there. This one, or maybe a couple of hoppers up, but generally we're looking at what this hopper is going to be doing right here. That is where everything's going to be going, so to speak, through this system. So why don't we set that up real quick. I'm not going to do the full redstone right now, as I want to work on the building more today. But we would have that, and then we would have water in there like that, which then the hopper would probably be here, or we could have it the other way. You know, whatever really. That's something we can play around with a little bit later. So at this point, we've kind of done the first layer. The next step to this is actually going to be to put in the second layer. And I've kind of done so much of that already, in one sense, that I've already started mapping it out. So let's just finish off these. This is probably, I underestimated the amount of resources I'm going to need, for one, because it looks like we're going to need a lot more quartz slabs, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to go on a big quartz run again. I think I have enough hardened clay to do it, but it's still going to be a bit of a hassle, and I really don't look forward to going to the Mesa because it's a long way away, and we may have to look into somehow simplifying that transport, maybe even just using speed 2 potions, something like that. Because going to the Mesa is just a pain, to be absolutely honest with you. Wait, do I already have some dyes in here? I do. Okay. I'm going to combine some of these to make some orange dye. There we go, make another stack of clay. So that's something we may look into in order to improve our access to the Mesa biome. As at the moment it's around a 5-minute walk all the way over there, so I may look into ways that I can combat that a little bit. So what do we got now? We've got this situation, which is fine. And we want to start putting in the glass, and the glass obviously marks the floor. The floor for this layer is going to be right here. So we could go ahead and start and fill this in. Let me see. I'm not going to have enough clay, I don't think, to do it all, but that's fine. There we go. I'll make some more in a moment. We're just kind of getting the idea at this point of what it is that we want to do. So we've got that. Now we want to add some more glass. Glass is not such a problem to obtain. White stained glass is a little on the expensive side for me, as I don't have a skeleton grinder or a way of collecting skeleton bones easily, aside from going out and hunting mobs, but I can manage. We may go out and do some hunting in an episode, just to kind of vary the content up a little bit, and just go hunt some skeletons. I could do with spiders as well, for various different projects. I wish I just had a Luton 3 sword. I may go ahead and upgrade Fairblade to Luton 3 now, as I don't use it anymore as my main sword. So that's possibly something to do in a future episode, is to actually go out and hunt some mobs, get some supplies together for finishing this. And we are going to be building a dark room eventually. It's a big project, and I need to build the gold farm first. And as for building the gold farm, I think I have pretty much everything apart from string now. Now, one thing I would like to do is actually probably go out on a quest pretty soon, try and look and see if I can find any abandoned mines in the area, because there may well be one that I haven't seen, and then that means cave spider spawners, so I could also improve my XP situation while I'm at it, if you know what I'm saying here. Because my XP situation, it's not too bad, but it could be better. And if I could find a cave spider spawner, it's at least a little more pleasant, in a sense that I can use potions to kill them instead of having to punch them all to death. And also it gives me a high chance of finding a dual or even triple spawner situation, which would be pretty good, honestly. Dirt. We want dirt. There we go. I want to make a dirt staircase up here. There we are. So quartz as well is kind of... We need more quartz, definitely, in order to do this project. I was actually thinking, because it was slabs and it was only going to be sort of rings around the edges, it was going to be a little bit smaller, but obviously not. So for this one, for example, we're going to take the 4 dirt out here. Rapid change of topic there, and for that I apologise. And we're going to have dirt in here, and then orange stained clay will come across here. Pick that up. So then the water will flow down onto this and then move forward. We are going to have to kind of make the water go in the direction we want, but that is easy enough to do, and we'll mess around with that later. I just kind of want to work on fleshing out the design of this thing at the moment. And I do need to make some more of this. So let's make 8. And that should be enough to kind of finish up this floor. There we go. So this is going to be a fairly tall building in comparison to everything else we've built at the moment. There we go, we can take that out. Then on the layer above, it's going to alternate again and go back to this pattern, so that we can kind of just use 4 dispensers, and it will just be kind of like a waterfall through the building. So now it's on to adding more stained glass and making this 3 high again. Not the most interesting thing to build, as it's pretty repetitive, but still, it'll be pretty cool when it's all done. It's just the supplies needed to actually make the thing are a little on the expensive side. But I tried to make it out of supplies I do have a lot of, or at least access to a lot of. So, for example, hardened clay. I could get a double chest worth of hardened clay from the Mesa if I wanted to, and I'd probably be set for building stuff like this, but it's getting there that's the problem with that one. And then there is the glass, which is, again, at the Mesa, I could get a double chest worth of sand and cook it all up into glass, and that is fine. It's just getting there. Okay, so how do we want to work this out? Okay, so we need to go, essentially, there then. There we go. And as for quartz, well, quartz is just a pain to collect because it's in the nether, and it's pretty hard to get around in the nether, particularly where my spawn point is. So we may end up doing a little bit of digging through the nether ceiling and dropping down on somewhere which is a bit more quartz collection friendly at some point. Because I need so much quartz for so many things I want to build in this base, and it's going to take a lot more than what I have now, especially considering the volume I went through in building that lab, and we've not even really finished with that yet, although I have finished with the quartz for that build, so it's just quartz for everything else right now that's presenting a little bit of a problem. So now we need to get in this somehow. I guess we could go over the top, I suppose. I haven't put a ladder well in yet. That's one of the next things I'm going to do, probably after this floor, so that we can have a convenient way of getting up and down. And I would like it to be reasonably close to the collection point as well, and that means that, well, the planting point actually. So I can plant all the seeds or carrots or whatever from where I am on the ladder roughly, and that's a lot going to depend on where the water wants to flow and how I'm going to deal with that. So that's going to be something to think about definitely in the construction of this type of farm. So why don't we work a little bit now, actually, a little bit of change of scenery on lighting for this. Now lighting is going to be a little bit tricky. For this floor, I mean, it's pretty easy. We're just going to knock the 4 corners out and that will be where our lamps go. But for the floors above, it's going to be a little bit tricky, hence why I made it too high. I'm probably going to fill all of this in with the orange stained clay and then just have some hidden levers up there with lamps in. So let's get some lamps in here. Let's see. There we go. I do want this to be a torch-free building, as it doesn't really suit having torches in here. But I mean, we've got a lot of options as to what to work on. It's just collecting the supplies in order to do them. So I think that the next target after this is probably going to be the gold farm, almost certainly. But that's going to require a large volume of string. So that could still be tricky in its own right. So I'll have to think about that. But maybe we'll go on a quest at some point for string. It's funny too, because I had all of that string from the cave spider spawner that I had at the fort base, but we don't have access to that anymore, so it's going to be a little on the painful side for the moment as to collecting string. Wait, we don't want the corners here. So let's try this. And then maybe once I've done this, I'll probably work on it off camera a little bit, and we'll see where we get with the supplies I have. So let's fill this in. We do want to leave that slot empty. We want to leave the 4 corners empty. And we're going to put lamps in there. And then a lever underneath. Not the prettiest, but it's not terrible, you know. It's kind of the best I've got, really, in terms of options with working with this. There we go. At least it doesn't give me a horrible lighting bug. Like if it switched off like that, I couldn't live with that, but that's not so bad. So that's not too bad. We do need to work on the entrance a little bit, but we can't really work on that until the main building is kind of done. But now you can begin to see the layout here of what I'm going for. And we can kind of close that off. So it's kind of a little tricky yet seeing what I actually want to do, because I could put iron doors on the front of this. I could build a piston based solution, but if I did do that, then it's going to look a little ugly because of all the redstone that I've got to try and hide. So I'm going to have to think about what I want to do with the door situation before moving on that, really, because we don't have a whole lot of room to work with. But so far I'm really liking the look of it. It's just going to be very tall. That's the a very interesting aspect of this, and it's going to require a lot of resources, notably I think the biggest supply dampener really is the amount of glass I need, but I can obtain that fairly easily, so shouldn't be too much of a problem to do these. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work a little bit on this, probably work on adding a couple more floors and setting up the water situation, and then I'll be back and we'll probably call it an episode there after taking a look at how it completely works. So I will be right back, guys. Okay guys, so I've been working on this for a while now, but we've kind of hit a glass ceiling, and what do I mean by that? Well, I'm out of quartz for one, so I can't finish this off, but we've made significant progress on it. This is what it looks like now. It's just missing the very top floor, and what I'm thinking of doing is next episode going on a little adventure, and I'm going to try and go back to that island that we were on, because if I recall correctly, there was a load of quartz I had to leave behind in silk touch form on that island because I couldn't carry it all with me. So I'm going to try and head back there, and that may be the solution, at least short term, to fixing this. And there's more than just the reasons for going back to the island than just the quartz. I know for a fact that there is a lot of string there. Now, I don't think it's all the string I need, but it is pretty darn close to the amount I need for the gold farm. So it would make sense to try and pick that up. And I think there's some rails there as well, which could be useful for different projects that we're going to have here. And there might be some other things I'm unaware of that I left behind as well. So it may be worthwhile looking around, trying to get access to those things as well. So next episode we're going to be working on that. And we'll try and find the island again. Now it's going to be challenging, but I think I know where to go. So this is the top floor as it stands. Not too much at the moment, but it's getting there. And probably what we'll do is, next episode we'll work on getting that, and then maybe the episode after, we might look at finishing this up, getting the water in where the dirt should be, and making all the sort of the land tilled properly, and getting the crops in, and actually setting up the harvest system, and adding in this. I think that now that's pretty much all that's left, to be honest with you, is sort of the redstone side of it, really. So we'll probably work on that in a couple of episodes' time. We also have the lab to work on as well, so we may end up doing that after we get back from the island. I'll have to have a think about that one. But I think we've reached a good stopping point for today's episode, guys. I hope that you like the little design I've got going on here. I have a ladder well inside now. And being as it's getting to night, before we go, one thing I can test is the light levels. Well, I guess not, actually, because we're on the inside. So it's going to make more sense to do that another time. So until next time, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed. And I'll see you later, and have a good day.